Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you all are fine. So, we are back with the second lecture for our topic relevant to branches of chemistry. And today we will try to complete our topic along with the examples and the questions relevant to the branches of chemistry. In the previous lecture, we have discussed five branches of chemistry, and in this lecture, we will complete our almost seven branches along with the examples and questions. So let's start from our first branch, that is the biochemistry. And you all know about biochemistry, that it is basically the integration of two sciences, biology and chemistry. So, according to this basic definition, we can say that biochemistry is the branch of chemistry that deals with physical and chemical changes that occur within the living organism. For example, when a plant grows from a seedling, then it first turns into the shoot, and then that shoot turns into stem, leaves, and then the flowers. So these apparent changes within the vegetative part of the plant, that is considered a physical change. But behind this physical change, there are some chemical changes taking place within that living organism. So those chemical changes are responsible for the plant growth and the formation of the flowers or the fruits. So biochemistry involves both the physical as well as the chemical changes. If we talk about the examples of biochemistry from the everyday life, we can take the example of DNA. We all know about DNA, that it is a hereditary material, and it is responsible for the transmission of characteristics from parents to offsprings. So, discussing about the structure of DNA and its working and function within the body of a living organism, it comes under the branch of biochemistry. Similarly, another example that we may study in this branch are the hormones. What are hormones? Hormones are basically the chemical messengers that are excreted by specific glands within our body. Like we all know that we have thyroid glands, and those thyroid glands are responsible for the production of thyroxine within our body. So, if we discuss about the chemical composition of the hormones and their effect and function within our body, then this also comes with the branch of biochemistry. Third example is of proteins, and we all know that the proteins are very much essential for a living organism, and they are mainly synthesized by RNA within our body. So these three are the main examples that we may discuss under the branch of biochemistry. So here are some of the examples of the questions relevant to biochemistry. How biomolecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids contribute to the structure and function of living organism. And from this question, you can easily assess that what type of branch is this. I have already told you that in certain questions there are specific hint terms that may help you to identify the branch of chemistry. So in this question, you can easily assess that this question relates to the biochemistry, because here the term biomolecule is being used, and biomolecules refer to all those molecules or compounds which are present within the living organism. Similarly, what are the functions of thyroid gland within our body? You can easily say that if we are talking about the glands are related to hormones, and hormones are chemical messengers, so it also comes under the branch of biochemistry. Next, we have industrial chemistry, and from the name of the industrial chemistry, you may guess that we are talking about the industries and important chemical substances that are being prepared within the industry. So, basically, you define it as a branch of chemistry that deals with the large scale production of the chemical substances, and these chemical substances are very much useful. Since they are very much useful, so their demand is in large quantity, and since their demand is in large quantity, so they are um, being used so they are being produced by the industries at the bigger scale. Here are some of the examples relevant to the industrial chemistry. First example is of Haber's process. What is this Haber's process? It is a process through which we can synthesize ammonia, and you all know that ammonia is an important fertilizer, which is added to the soil to increase the growth and yield of the plants. Similarly, contact process, it is also being employed in the industries for the production of an important chemical called sulfuric acid, and this sulfuric acid may further be used to synthesize very much important chemical compounds. Similarly, we have another process, Solvay process. What is Solvay process? It is a process in which we basically prepare the washing soda. Similarly, if we discuss about the fractional distillation of petroleum, we all know that petroleum is a fossil fuel, and from that fossil fuel we can separate different fractions through the process of fractional distillation. And one of the some of the fractions, to name few, are the petrol and diesel. And we all know about the importance of petrol and diesel, that how much they are important um, for the transportation purpose, as well as they can be burned as a fuel for carrying out different activities, life activities. All right. So, the questions relevant to industrial chemistry may be like, which catalyst is employed in the synthesis of sulfuric acid in contact process? So, this contact process is an industrial process, and anything that we are discussing relevant to this process will comes under the branch of industrial chemistry. Similarly, what are the raw materials that may be employed for the synthesis of urea? Here, raw materials mean that the starting material. So urea is also synthesized in the laboratory, and if we are talking about its starting material, then this also comes under the branch of industrial chemistry. Sorry, urea is synthesized in industries. And if we are talking about synthesis, then we this also comes under the branch of industrial chemistry. Next branch we have medicinal chemistry. How do you define it? It is basically the branch of chemistry that deals with the study of interactions between the drugs and biological targets. So, if you want to define a drug, the what is it? The drug is a chemical substance that, when enters into the body, produces certain kind of therapeutic functions. And but what are biological targets? Biological targets are the proteins whose function may be modified when a drug attacks on them, when a or when a drug perform its function on them. So drugs may be harmful, drugs may be useful, but if we are and if we are discussing its effect within our body, its physiological action within our body, then that discussion or that study comes into the branch of medicinal chemistry. Here are some of the examples that are relevant to this medicinal chemistry. In the medicinal chemistry, we not only talk about the function of drugs within our body, but we can also discuss that how those drugs are extracted or obtained. Drugs may be synthetic, drugs may be natural, and if they are natural, then they are mostly extracted from the plants. uh, s- Poppy seed plants lead to the discovery of morphine drug. So this statement refers to the branch of medicinal chemistry. Similarly, paracetamol is a painkiller. It is also a drug, so we can say that it is also to the example of the medicinal chemistry. Here are some of the questions which are relevant to the medicinal chemistry, like how are drugs designed and developed for specific therapeutic purposes? Therapeutic purposes means that for healing purpose. How drugs may be designed as to effectively increase the healing phase of the body of living organism. Second question, how does medicinal chemistry contribute to the treatment of specific diseases? Now, in the first question, we have the hint term therapeutic purposes and drug. And in the second question, we have the hint term medicinal. So, I think that just by looking at the questions, by understanding the concept, you can easily assess that what kind of branch is this. Next is the polymer chemistry. What are polymers? The term polymer is a Greek word which means many parts. All right. So if you want to define the polymers, we can say that they are the macromolecules. They are large molecules which are made of repeating subunits called as the monomers. Here you may say that this here you may say that this light blue circle is a monomer. And when these monomers get linked together in a chain, then they result in the formation of a large structure which are called as the polymer. And always remember that in a polymer, we have the same repeating monomers. So how will we define this branch? We can say that it is the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of polymers, their types, properties, uses, importance, and the types of polymerizations. The process through which monomers combine together to form the polymer refers as the polymerization type. Okay, and it may be there are more than one types of polymerization, and in the later stages we may discuss it. Here are some of the examples from the daily life relevant to the polymer chemistry. First one is of nylon bearings, and these bearings are used to rotate any body part of a machinery. Plastic bags, polyethylene cups, polyesters, Teflon coated cookware, and epoxy glue. These are the examples which are relevant to the branch of polymer chemistry. Here are some of the questions which are relevant to the polymer chemistry. First one is, what are polymers and how do their structures affect their properties? Second is, how are polymers synthesized through various polymerization techniques? So whenever a hint term comes like polymer, you will easily understand that this statement or this question refers to the branch of polymer chemistry. Next is the geochemistry. Geo means earth. So, in this branch, we basically discuss the chemical composition of the earth crust. So, how do you define it? That it is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of chemical composition. And the chemical composition, we discuss about the elements and the compounds, its distribution, and transformation of elements and compounds in earth crust such as rock, mineral, soil, and the atmosphere. So if we talk about the examples of geochemistry from our everyday life, then we may discuss that the exploitation of earth resources such as metal and petroleum within the earth crust also comes into the branch of petroleum chemistry. Similarly, chemical weathering resulting in the change of chemical composition of rocks also is an example relevant to the branch of geochemistry. Here are some of the questions relevant to geochemistry. First one is, how do geological processes influence the distribution of elements in Earth's crust? Uh, you all know that there are some geological processes like the volcanic eruptions, like the earthquakes, the movement of the tectonic plates, floods. These all may contribute in the change in the composition or the distribution of element within the Earth's crust. Second is, what is the role of geochemistry in understanding the Earth's history and evolution? So by just tracking the composition of Earth's crust with respect to the time, we can easily assess that how the Earth evolved in the given phase period of time. Next is the branch of nuclear chemistry. As the name suggests that here we are basically dealing with the change in the atomic nuclei. So branch of chemistry that deals with the changes that occur in the atomic nuclei is called as the nuclear chemistry. And we can quote the example of atom bomb within the nuclear chemistry. Atom bombs are basically produced on the principle of atomic fission reaction. Fission means to break into smaller parts. So, how this fission occurs? We have a a specific nucleus of uranium 235. When this nucleus is bombarded with a neutron, it results in the splitting of this nucleus into fragments. Along with the fragments, large amount of energy is also released, and that amount of energy is responsible for carrying out the destruction for which the atom bombs are usually made. Here are some of the questions which are relevant in nuclear chemistry. Always remember that in a nuclear fission reaction, the energy released can be controlled, and with that controlled energy, we can get the beneficial use of that energy. And though that beneficial use of energy is being employed in the nuclear reactors, where that nuclear energy is converted into electrical energy or for some other to carrying out some other life activities. Here are some of the questions relevant to the nuclear chemistry. First one is, how do nuclear reactions differ from the chemical reaction? What is the role of radioactive isotopes in medicines and chemistry? And third, risk and the benefits associated with the nuclear energy. The last branch of the chemistry that we are going to discuss is the astronomy. How do you define astronomy? It is the branch of chemistry that deals with the study of chemical processes and reactions that occur in the astronomical environment, such as stars, planets, comets, and the interstellar space. So, the main question which is relevant to the astronomy is, what type of reactions occur in astronomical environment? Like, if we talk about the sun is the star, and within the sun there is a specific reaction carrying out which is called as the fusion reaction. And in that fusion reaction, basically the two nuclei combine together to form a bigger nucleus. So in that fusion reaction, large amount of energy is being released. But if we are talking about the type of chemical reaction taking place within the sun, then we will say that we are discussing it under the branch of the astronomy. So anything relevant to the chemical composition of the astronomical objects will be studied under the branch of the astronomy. So this was the last branch of chemistry that we have to discuss in this chapter. After the discussion of these branches, we will have a certain exercise in which we will have different statements, and you will have to identify the branches by just reading those statements and taking the hints from those statements. So in the next video, we are going to do a little bit exercise with respect to those specific statements. Stay tuned, it will be coming soon. All the best.